Hey guys, welcome back to our series, I'm in Trouble. Today we are talking about strengths and weaknesses. So I would like to know how strong you guys are. Can you tell me what is the heaviest thing you think you could lift? Shout it out. I'm sure you guys said some really heavy things. I don't even know the heaviest thing I could lift. It's been a long time since I've lifted anything super heavy. Yeah, I don't know. But today we're not only talking about strengths, we're also talking about weaknesses. We're gonna learn some important truths about both strengths and weaknesses. So let's get ready to learn and watch this video.
Hello there, everybody. Good to see you again. It's me, Josh. In the series, I'm in Trouble. As we all know, life is just full of trouble.
You're telling me one time there was an armadillo on my toothbrush?
How did an armadillo get on your toothbrush?
Well, he was using it.
Why was he using it?
Well, he's my roommate and needed to borrow it.
Your roommate is an armadillo.
Armadillo soup is delicious.
Hey, you stay away from Eugene.
Anyway, have you ever noticed that there are people in this life that are just naturally strong? Yeah, like me, bro. Check it out. Not exactly what I meant. You know what I'm talking about. People that are just really big and strong. They work out a lot and they have huge muscles. Like this guy. Or her.
Here we go. Don't make me angry.
Or these guys.
This is making me physically ill.
Well, boys and girls, it's true. Not everyone has the same strengths. But today we're learning about a guy who's famous for his strength. You may have heard about him before. Sylvester Stallone.
Hey, boss, it's good to be here.
No.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ah, this is fantastic.
No.
Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball. What?
I don't know.
Now, we're not talking about those guys and girl. We're talking about a guy in the Bible who's known for his great strength and his long hair. Who could it be?
Chuck Norris.
No. How many times do I have to tell you guys? Chuck Norris is not in the Bible. That joke is so old anyway. No, we're talking about a guy named Samson.
Okay.
Duh.
No, that makes more sense.
Samson was incredibly strong, and he did amazing things, but his strength wasn't enough. Samson's story is very sad when you think about it. So what does he do? And what should we do when all of our strengths and our talents mean nothing? We may not be physically strong, like me, but we all have things that we do well. What do we do in life when those strengths and talents still leave us with nothing? You're gonna find out in today's story. So sit tight and pay attention for the action-packed ending. We're gonna learn that even though we may be weak, his strength is perfect.
Man, I wish I was big and strong like Samson.
Well, say no more, my good man.
Wait, what?
Booyah!
Hey, y'all, look at me! Woo! Y'all are so tiny.
Whoa!
That just ain't right.
Change him back now.
You guys are no fun.
Today we're learning that when we are weak, God is strong. Even though we may not be strong enough to handle all the trouble that comes our way, God is always strong enough. And that is what we're learning in our lesson today. But first, let's find out what you gotta know.
What you gotta know? What you gotta know? What you gotta know? What you gotta know?
Woo! Yeah! Hey there, boys and girls. My name is Wiggy Pop, and I'm here to have a rockin' time teaching you what you gotta know. Today, we're talking about how God will give you strength when you feel weak. So every time today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them this: I may be weak, but my God is strong. Oh man, look at these wimpy muscles. I feel so weak. Oh yeah? Well, look at these rockin' solid muscles. I'm so strong. Whoa, 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 guys. We're not talking about muscles. we're talking about how when we face trouble, sometimes we just don't feel like we're strong enough to make it through. Oh, okay. That's right. We're talking about how God is strong even when we're weak. He will give us the strength we need to make it through our time of trouble. So every time today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them this: I may be weak, but my God is strong. And that right there is what you gotta know. My name is Wiggy Pop, and I'll see you next time. Rock on! What you gotta know?
Today. I'm okay.
Just okay? What's wrong?
I'm just too good at video games. I'm just too good. It's like when I pick up the controller, it's like champs in the house. And I guess you could say it's one of my strengths.
Well, I'm not really seeing the problem here.
Well, I'm too good. I want to play all the time. And my friends miss hanging out with me, but I'm just so hooked on the game. It's my weakness and I can't step away from it.
I see. That does sound like a difficult thing for you, but I think I can share some info that will help you out. You want to hear it?
Look out! Yes, I would love to hear it. Please tell me. Right now.
We all have different strengths and weaknesses.
Really? What's one of your strengths?
Well, now wait, I'm not finished. Not finished.
Oh, of course. Okay, continue, please.
The Bible says that God's strength never runs out and that when we are weak, He is strong. So if you ask God for strength to step away from playing those games so you can spend time with friends, God will help you with that weakness.
That sounds great. Thank you for telling me. You're a pal.
Of course, I am always glad to share God's word and help a friend out.
So what's one of your strengths? Or weaknesses?
Well, I can blow a pretty decent bubble with some double bubble gum.
Do you have any gum right now? Can you show me?
No, I don't, unfortunately. Do you have some?
No, I don't. My mom always said that it's a nasty habit that made a person look like a goat with all that chewing.
Well, I guess I can see how that might be true for some people.
Look out! Horsefly! Oh my goodness.
Oh, good. Calm down. It's just a regular housefly. It cannot harm you.
No way! No way! I heard it. It was like. Look out!
Okay. Goodbye. Look out, Bob. See you later.
What you gotta know?
Today's Bible story is found in the book of Judges, chapter 16. Where's it found? It is a story about a man named Samson. How many of you guys have heard of Samson before? Maybe Samson was known for being the strongest man in the Bible. How many of you would like to be known as the strongest person? That's a pretty sweet thing to be known for, right? Well, Samson was so strong because God gave him incredible strength. And he told Samson, as long as you never cut your hair, you will have your strength. So all his life, Samson never cut his hair, and he was super strong. His hair was as long as he was strong. Can you imagine how long his hair must have been if he never got a haircut? You guys can't see very well, but I have a lot of hair. My hair is very long, and I have had lots of haircuts in my life. Lots of haircuts. No haircuts? Can you imagine how long his hair was? Anyway, he also had many crazy adventures in his life, but one day he fell in love with a woman named Delilah. And Delilah was very pretty. The trouble was the Philistines, Samson's enemies, made a deal with Delilah. If she could figure out the secret to his strength and trick him, then they would pay her lots of money. So Delilah had taken that deal, and after several tries to figure it out, she finally figured out the secret of Samson's strength and figured out that if she cut his hair, he would lose his strength, and she did. She ended up cutting his hair, and when she did, Samson's strength left him, and the Philistines rushed in and captured him. The Philistines took Samson away, and they gouged out his eyes. Yikes. So he was blind, and they made him grind grain. Samson was in a terrible situation. I'd say it's safe to say Samson was in big trouble, right? He was weak, he was blind, and he was bound by chains. That is some trouble. But the Philistines, they were thrilled. They were so excited that their strong enemy had finally been weakened and captured. So they decided to throw a huge party to celebrate because that's how excited they were. So they threw this huge party, and the king's officials said to the prison guards, "Bring out Samson so we can make fun of him." They were so excited, they wanted to parade him around and tease him and mock him because they were just so proud of themselves for capturing him. They were so excited, so that's what they did. Which was pretty sad for Samson, right? That seems pretty awful. You're already in this terrible place, and now they just want to show you around so that they can laugh at you and mock you. But when he arrived to the party, he asked the young servant that was leading him around to put his hands on 2 pillars that supported the roof. So put his hands out on 2 pillars so that he could rest. But while Samson was standing there, weak and blind, he looked up to heaven and he prayed, "God, strengthen me one more time." Just this one last time. And God gave Samson the strength that he needed right then. And he pushed on those pillars as hard as he could, so hard that the entire temple collapsed, defeating his enemies once and for all. And it worked. God gave Samson the strength that he needed. God's strength was enough for Samson to defeat his enemies. And today in our lesson, we are going to learn what Samson learned. When we are weak, God is strong, and his strength never runs out.
Good morning, everybody! Is anyone else getting a little bit stir crazy, having to sit in your seat this entire time? I'm getting a little stir crazy. I need to do something, and I need to get my wiggles out. Who wants to do a brain break with me? Anyone else? Anyone? Yeah? Okay, let's do it. Ready? So on the end of your seat. Get on the end of your seat, put your feet on the floor. Ready? Ready? You're gonna follow my instructions. We're gonna stand up, and then we're gonna sit down. And then we're gonna stand up, and then we're gonna sit down. And then we're gonna stand up, and we're gonna reach really high, reach into the sky. And then we're gonna touch our toes, and we're gonna touch our toes. And we're gonna stand back up, and we're gonna sit down. And then we're gonna stand up, and we're gonna do 3 jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna sit down. And then we're gonna stand up, and we're gonna run around our chair 2 times. Ready? Go. 1, 2. Okay, we're gonna sit down, and we're gonna stand up. We're gonna jump 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sit down, stand up, sit down, and we're all done. Okay, now let's turn our listening ears back on.
What you gotta know?
Thank you. Oh, please have a seat. Wonderful. Hold your applause. Oh, welcome back. I am the actor, and today I am going to teach you a wonderful power verse. If you want to be a great method actor like me, all you need to do is listen closely and learn the power verse. Today's power verse says, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. What a wonderful, fantastic power verse. Now, if there's one thing I've learned as the greatest method actor of all times, it's that the best way to memorize your lines, or the power verse in this instance, is to do it in character. So let's find out what today's character shall be. Let's see. Yes, today's character is my Uncle Rufus, of course. What a nice guy. But it's not true. Acting, thank you. Okay, today's character is really A snake! Haha, I love this one. Okay, boys and girls, you have to say everything with so many S's, okay? Let's say the power verse on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Acting, thank you. Good job, boys and girls. Now it is time for me to get going, but I have a problem. Someone has tied my shoelaces together while I've been sitting here. Acting, thank you. I don't even wear shoes. Okay, goodbye, everyone. Exit stage left. Where is left? I'm gonna go with this.
What you gotta know?
Hey kids, welcome to our call to action, where today we're talking about His strength is perfect. Do you like my hat? I'm ready for Christmas. I'm excited. It's December. So on the count of 3, I want you to say His strength is perfect, because we're talking about God's strength. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. His strength is perfect, and that's what we're talking about today. Okay, I have a question for you. How many of you have ever watched any superhero movies? I have, right? They're all about people who have superpowers, people who are unusually strong and brave. And most of them use their power for good, to help rescue people from danger or evil enemies, right? We love watching movies about superheroes because there's some part of all of us that wishes that we were stronger and braver than we really are. And the truth is, especially kids, right? We feel like we're not strong enough sometimes. Not me, but you, because I'm older. But sometimes I feel like I'm not strong enough either. Okay, we feel like as kids, you can feel like you're too weak. And so we need the help of grown-ups to come alongside us to help us lift heavy things or to face dangerous situations, right? And while it sometimes feels like a bummer to be weak, right? People make fun of you because you might be weak. The Bible actually tells us that being weak is a better way for God to show His power and strength. Isn't that amazing? In our Bible story today, God came through and showed amazing power when Samson was at his weakest, right? Hanging there, tied up to 2 posts, his eyes, he can't see, and God showed up. And he was able to have the victory one more time. So today we're going to learn some important lessons about strengths and weaknesses. Are you ready? I bet you are. So the first lesson that we're going to learn today is this. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. So on the count of 3, I want you to stand up and I want you to shout that. Are you guys ready? I heard it. 1, 2, 3. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We do. So we all have things that we're really great at, right? So what are some of your strengths? Go ahead and just shout them for everyone to hear. I hear that, right? So we all have things that we're really, really good at. And those are all awesome, the things that you shared. And it's great that we all have strengths and talents and abilities that are special for each of us, right? But while you may be really strong and good at singing or acting or playing a sport, not everybody is. In fact, your strength might be someone else's weakness. For example, if you can draw really well and that's your strength, that's awesome. But guess what? That's not my strength. That would be one of my weaknesses. I can draw a really good stick figure, right? So we all have weaknesses too. So what are some things that you admit that you're just not great at? Go ahead and shout them out right now. Okay? Right. I can't play sports, right? I try and play a sport and it's like, she just tripped over her foot again. Okay, so that's one of my weaknesses and I've tried. Okay, so there's no need to be ashamed of your weaknesses because we all have them. God has gifted us different from each other. Okay, we all have weaknesses. We all have strengths. Okay, and guess what? Even though our strength has its limits, point number 2 says this, God's strength never runs out.
Did you hear that? God's strength never runs out. So on the count of 3, I want you to say that with me. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. God's strength never runs out. God is different than us. He doesn't have weaknesses. Instead, he has an amazing supply of strength and power. In fact, guess what? His strength is not only never ending, it's invincible. Everyone say invincible, because I love that word. Invincible. He's stronger and greater than anyone and anything else that has or ever will exist. And that's what I call a superpower. So whatever you're facing in life, whatever trouble comes your way, God is stronger and bigger, right? And you may be facing some tough times right now. And I know we've talked about this almost every Sunday, but maybe someone you know is sick, or maybe you broke your arm and you can't do certain things, or maybe you're not doing so well in school. Maybe one of your parents or friends' parents lost their job and you don't know how you're going to be able to afford food or to live. Or maybe you have a neighbor that you play with that's not being very kind to you. Or maybe you're really struggling with this whole situation of COVID-19. And those things are definitely really tough, right? Really tough. But God is still stronger. Whatever you're facing, he is strong and mighty. Everyone say strong and mighty. Strong and mighty. God said it this way in our power verse: my grace is all you need. All you need is God. And when you're facing difficult, tough situations, or scary things, dangerous things, all you need is God. And his grace is all you need, okay? Remember the rest of the verse? My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. Can you say that with me? My power works best in weakness. And so this is our last lesson today. It says this: when we are weak, he is strong. Okay, so I want you to say that with me on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. When we are weak, he is strong. And we love the part where God is strong, but the part where he is strong when we are weak isn't as exciting, right? We want to be strong too. Our world tells us that we need to be strong, right? If we want to be successful, if we want to do a lot of great things, the world says that we need to be stronger and better than everyone else. Right? Have you heard that before? They say the stronger the better, but God actually says the opposite. God says that he can work in our lives and use his power to help us better when we're weaker and we rely on him. Okay, and that's when God shows up, when we're weak. Just like Samson at the end of his life, he was weak, right? He disobeyed God, and so he was captured by the Philistines. And so he was weak at the very end, but God showed up one more time and he was able to bring another victory to show his power. And that's how it works with God. We need to remember that when we are weak, like Samson, God can use his power and strength to work in our lives, right? So when we are weak, he is strong. When we face troubles that are too big and tough, God can use his strength to help us because his strength is perfect. Well, what does that look like, Pastor Jolene? Well, maybe your friend is mean to you and you're like, I can't stand playing with this friend because she's so mean to me. So you decide to tell her that it hurts your feelings, and all of a sudden your friend changes. Because you were weak and God made you strong to be able to tell your friend that. Or maybe you've been praying for your parent to get a job and you don't know what's going to happen, and all of a sudden your dad is offered a job. So in our weakness, God is stronger, just like we learned today. And I know that's a hard lesson to learn because we don't want to be weak. We don't want people to see us crying. We don't want people to see us sad. But that's when God works in us. When we are weak, he is strong. So I'm going to pray for you that God would help you, because I know some of you are dealing with some tough situations. Okay, so just like last week, I want you to think about some situations that you're facing that are tough and you feel really weak or inadequate and you need God's strength to help you get through it. Okay, so if you're going through something, I want you to think about that in your head. Okay, so take a few seconds and just picture that situation in your head. Okay, do you have that situation? And we're going to pray for you. Okay, are you guys ready? God, we thank you yet again for another lesson that we can learn from the Bible. Thank you for the Bible, your word to us that teaches us how to live our lives. God, I pray for every kid out there that is facing a tough situation and they feel weak. God, I pray right now that you would come through for them, that God, you would give them the strength to make it through, and you would remind them that you are more powerful than what they're facing. So God, just put your hand upon them, be with them, and show up for them. God, we thank you for your love for us. In your name we pray. Amen. See you soon.
What you gotta know?
Another great lesson in our series, I'm in trouble. His strength is perfect. Again, another great reminder to me about what I need to be telling myself. Okay? So God is your strength. He can and will be with you. When we are weak, He is strong. So I want you to remember that. When we are weak, He is strong. And guys, He wants you just to talk to Him and say, God, I'm just feeling so lonely, or I'm just feeling like I can't do anything right, or I can't seem to get my spelling words right. And He wants you to come to Him and say, God, please help me. And He wants to show up for you. So give all of your worries and your troubles to God so that He can show up for you. Okay? I love you guys, and I hope you have a great week.